trying to be like your sister?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Staying here from Rocky Creek. Welcome back to the homestead. So I'm wondering if we may not have our bear issue starting back up again near our pig area. And let me show you why I think that and what we're going to try to do to figure out if that's indeed what is going on. Everybody's sleeping so sound. It's a nice, like 60-degree sunny day. So they're living it up. What's up, Big Mama? What's up, Olivia? See, deep down, y'all do like each other. Y'all look how they got their little legs crisscrossed like that. I just noticed that. And there's old May, old Mater, and we got to name this fella too. Mrs. Rocky Creek and Madison been throwing out some names there. Madison wants to call him Oreo, and I think Mrs. Rocky Creek wants to name him Tank. I thought about naming him Tater and have Mater and Tater. Some friends of ours got a rabbit from us and named him Tater, so it may go with a different name than that. I kind of like Tank though, but we'll see what we end up deciding to name them when it's all said and done. I'll show you the two smaller pigs too before we get talking about this bear situation, but I wanted to show you that I did finally get some extra time and I got a good bit of Olivia and Big Mama's house finished up, other than the far side that you can't see that butts up to Mater's pen. I've only got the boards about halfway up, but it looks a whole lot better than what it was, and I do need to rip a board to fit that little corner section right there. But here's these two guys just hanging out, chilling, doing what they do. As you can tell by coonies, this is why you raise them in pairs, ideally, and not by themselves, because they absolutely love to lay with one another. I don't know what it is about it. It's like they always got to be touching something, and if they're not touching each other, usually they're going to be laying up against a fence line. All right, so those of you that have been with us, you know that we ran this polywire electrical line that is tied into this plug-in energizer right here, because we lost one of our piglets to a black bear attack last spring or fall, I can't remember exactly, but it was last year sometime. And so a friend of mine came and helped me run this on the outside to prevent that from ever happening again. I didn't have an issue the first couple years, and for whatever reason though, we lost one, and since I put this up, we haven't had the issue. But what has me concerned that the bear might be back, or a bear is back, and maybe is trying to mess with the pigs, is number one, when I came out this morning, our trash can was knocked over, but none of the trash had been messed with. So I thought, well, maybe it just happened to get blown over because the wind was pretty high last night. But then when I came over here to the pig area, and I don't know how well you can see it, but this mulch pile was mounted up kind of like in a hill or a little mountain, if you will, and something has dug this thing down about halfway deep and has spread it all over the place. So I don't know how well you can tell it, but this whole thing was mounted up to like here, and something pulled everything down this way and really dug down in here and got to messing with all of this. And in the process of doing so, they also snapped one of my little poles here. And in my opinion, there's only one animal that could dig that much mulch. I bet that's probably close to half of that mulch pile is pulled down, and it's a couple scoops from a tractor. There ain't but one animal I think could have done that, which would have probably been a bear. The best I can tell timeline-wise, I went back, tried to look at cameras, and when I went back and reviewed the cameras on our house that are powered by Wi-Fi, I saw the trash can was good to go at 1:30, and then somewhere between 3:30 and 4, the trash can was knocked over, but for some reason, it didn't pick up what may have caused it, or the can actually fallen. When I went back to look at the pigs footage to see if maybe I saw something in their mannerisms, there was a time around 5:30 in the morning, I think it was, that I noticed both Mater and the other boar are at the fence line facing towards this mulch pile, which is unusual for them at that early in the morning, unless they believe it's me coming to feed them, which I didn't come out to feed these guys till almost 8:30 this morning. So part of me is wondering if them coming to the fence wasn't a result of them maybe hearing the bear or seeing the bear or something to that nature. But let's get this Reolink camera moved. That's the great thing about it. It's super portable. We're gonna move this thing and point it back towards this mulch pile and see if we can't pick up something over the next couple nights. So the good thing is all we gotta do is we gotta undo just the solar panel that provides the power to it, and this strap right here, and the whole thing will slide right off. And we're gonna move that to another location. And then the solar panel, same thing. Pop the strap, pop it off. All right, now I'm just gonna hook the solar panel onto this round pole here. Pull that strap good and tight. And the camera, I'm gonna put around this 2x4 that our light is on. Now sometimes it's a little top heavy, so all I do is usually pop the actual camera off with that quick disconnect, which is nice, and then just feed the strap after that. All right, let's get our camera. There we go, that's good. Take our cord. Plug that back in. There we go, I think that'll work. All right, so you can see you got a solar panel right there, camera right there, and we're gonna have it pointing back in this general vicinity. So let me get into the app and check it out. All right, so that's a pretty good field of view. Maybe let's try to adjust it to the right just a hair. I think that's good. I think we're gonna leave it right there. I think that's gonna be a good spot. So we'll let this go for a few days and we'll see what we pick up. Y'all been following, the name's been officially determined. This is now Gertie the Goose. Of course, I will probably still keep referring to her as Goose Goose. But Mrs. Rocky Creek won the voting contest for Gertie. Madison lost when it come to Lucy. Let's take you inside the coop though and show you another update we got going on in here though. Check these guys out. We have moved the smaller chicks out from their brooder and we moved them here into the coop, and we have this inside of a dog crate, which is the way we like to introduce them to the rest of the flock. It protects them, but also gets them used to having the coop as their area. And I have this up on the shelf this time, so I don't have to take up my coop floor space because this is a big dog crate. So it does hang over a little bit, but it's wedged in pretty tight up top. And then what I did to just hold a little bit of the weight off and to keep it sort of level is we have some straps holding it and giving it some support that way. But they've been in here now for a couple days and they're doing just fine. So guys, in addition to the pigs and chickens, we have officially started our first part of the garden for this upcoming year other than our raised beds. And that is, we're starting some seed potatoes. And if you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, you saw where I posted a reel on how we chit our potatoes. And chitting them just works out to where you end up getting a lot more potato pieces and plants that you can plant into the ground. So like you got several plants right here and some eyes. You know, this was a whole potato, but we got 2 or 3 out of each potato. And ideally, when you're doing this, you want to have, you know, at least one strong plant and at least 1 or 2 of these other little eyes, which are going to potentially produce other plants. But you still want a good chunk of potato because that is the energy that it needs to grow. It's kind of like its fuel source as it's beginning its process. So once these things have finished hardening off, this is actually only 1 day later, and it's already sort of like a kind of like a suede feeling, if you will, or a soft leather. But you get another couple days and they'll be ready to go into the ground. Well guys, that's a quick little update on what we got going on the homestead. The only thing that I can hope for is that if indeed the bear is back and is kind of hanging around the property, or a bear, we've had several bears. Usually every year we have some of them. But hopefully, at least if it was a bear, and with our electrical line, hopefully it did its job and kept the bear away, and so nothing happened. And hopefully it'll continue to be that course. I'm just gonna have to be diligent in making sure that I have that thing plugged in, because I unplug it at times when I'm in and out of the pens a lot doing work, because you shock yourself enough times, you start remembering to make sure you undo it each time. And we have the electrical version right now because it was the cheapest and quickest option at the time. And I saved my solar energizer for when we're running our meat birds. But you know, we'll figure that out as we go, and we'll bring you along to share if we get anything on our camera and share that with you, and we'll see what we end up capturing. In the meantime, I want to provide you a little update on what we got going on with the chicks. You know, we got 12 of them now in the coop, which will double our flock if it all turns out fine. Anything that turns out to be a rooster, we'll probably end up keeping those back and process them as stew birds or whatever, but then also want to give you an update on our progress on our pig shelter. So guys, I appreciate y'all coming along today. Hope everybody's doing well, and we'll keep you up to date here very soon on our next episode. Thanks guys.